अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाह। हम चले गए हैं ना फिजा में, आज जल्दी पहुंच गए हैं माशाल्लाह, 5 मिनट से पहले ही। ठीक है, औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। या अय्युहन नासु इत्तक़ू रब्बकुमुल्लज़ी ख़लक़कुम मिन नफ्सिन वाहिदतिन व ख़लक़ मिनहा ज़ौजहा व बस्स मिनहुमा रिजालन कसीरन व निसाअ वत्तक़ुल्लाहल्लज़ी तसाअलून बिही वल अरहाम इन्नल्लाह कान अलैकुम रक़ीबा। सूरह अन-निसा की ये पहली आयत है।
This is the first verse of Surah An-Nisa. Huzur is saying that I've said some things with respect to this yesterday, and some things Huzur is saying that I shall present. I promised that I would present today some further matters. Huzur is saying that one of the things was with regards to the word tasa'alun, and that the normal translation, which is exactly in accordance to the subject, which means that you question each other. This, although this translation is correct, but Huzur is saying that I thought that perhaps this in Tasa'alun is included the meaning of asking a lot of questions. And when we did a search of the meanings, we found that this is not a meaning included in it. And because it's from the word was tatasaalun originally, and this is a method in Arabic language that often in tatasaalun, the first day is a silent is lost, and it is said in this way, so it means to question each other. So the translation will be tasaaluna bihi wal arham, which is saying that this is the same translation as was done before, but no other translation is possible from the Arabic lexicon, that the God in whose name or with reference to whom and with whose relations, and when you remind when you talk to each other, you refer to him, to his relationship with Allah, then remember that it has a great there is a great importance attached to arham, and arham, through arham, that is the womb, that is when how the relationships in the world are established, and it's impossible without the mother, because a father cannot create by herself, and a woman can, because she used to do this before, and with the husband, when she gives birth, this is the normal custom. So in this regard, now it is impossible that without the relationship of the mother, your any relationships, blood relationship can be established, and this is very important in the relationship of humankind, and to the same extent, if you want to attach yourself to Allah's mercy, then it also has to do with that. Those people who cut off their wombs, the relationship of the wombs, and they cut themselves off of the mercy of Allah as well. And this is what the Sa'aluna bihi wal arham means. And the other thing that I said was that there was a discussion about Timothy, and Huzur saying that when Private Secretary Sahib told me that there was something like this must or something, I said to him, and this is New Testament, I said to him that I said I didn't remember anything like that. But then when we did the research, we found out that it was Timothy. So Huzur is saying, well, at that time, somebody wrote me a wrong. Sent me a note to say that Timothy was a book of the Old Testament. This was wrong. I didn't have time to research at that time, and so what happened was that this was the person who gives me something. Imam Sahib should check it first and only give it to me when it's certain. So Huzur is saying, in any case, Timothy is a part of the New Testament, in which through letters the messages of Islam, of Christianity, has been given, and in that there are different letters such as Paul's, etc. Huzur is saying that, remind me what the reference was. I was looking for the reference. So we're saying that I wish to remind you of what we were discussing. I told a private secretary to give me a reference from the Old Testament, one from the New Testament. And when I told him that there is this reference does exist, and asked the research group to give it to me, and when he gave it to me, he called it Timotheus, and that is what caused all the difficulties. But the actual book is called Timothy, and in that, from verse 12 to 15, it says, "And I do not permit that women should teach or command, because Adam was made first and Eve was made afterwards, and she committed the sin, but her sin would be removed when she gives birth." So Huzur is saying that, and Adam was not deceived. It was a woman who was deceived and committed sin, but she will be able to get rid of her sin by giving birth. Huzur is saying, how will this happen? The commentary is right. Their commentary is right that the punishment is to give birth with pain. So when she gives birth with pain, then in the New Testament, it has not just been offered as a punishment, it is also offered as a source of salvation. So when a woman does this, she'll be purified. There are many such complications which are found in the New Testament with reference to the Old Testament. And in this regard, before we go forward, I wish to explain to you one thing very clearly, that to imagine that the Old Testament presented the idea of the original sin, this is wrong. The Old Testament does say that Eve was the first one to commit the sin, and she had a punishment. A punishment was set for her, but it doesn't say that Adam will be born sinful. There are contradictory references. It says that how could you say that the father, etc., had bitter grapes, and because of which our teeth also became bitter. So this is not the real teaching of the Old Testament. The only mistake is that they regarded Adam as being the first to be born before Eve, and this confused matters. And it is discussion of what this original sin was. This is found in St. Paul and and they made so much hue and cry over this that it became an important part of Christianity. This is why the Prophet Islam's discussions with the Christians, in that this original sin played a great importance, And the Christianity's building is built on the basics, on this basis that if anyone could attain salvation from sin, then there was no need for anyone to come and give his blood. So they say that man cannot attain salvation from sin because he is born sinful. His parents, his mother committed sin, that is Eve, and then she made Adam committed sin, and then after that, continuously this has continued in her blood, in the man's blood. And Bible says that don't think that your financial sacrifices, your jewelry, etc., can remove your sin, and it is only the blood that can wash away your sin. So from this regard, this is important because in reality, some writers of the New Testament have alleged something about the Bible, which the Bible itself is denying and rejecting. But when an incident's meaning comes out, then the different meanings are born out of it. But the spoiled version of Christianity afterwards, this belief became very strong. I do not remember about Jesus ever saying that Jesus was speaking of the original sin. Huzur was asking Imam Sahib if he recalls anything like of this nature. Huzur is saying, as far as I remember, there is no mention, there is no indication whatsoever by Jesus of the original sin, and neither of Trinity. So when such ideas entered into Christianity, it was the ideas of the spoiled version of Christianity, and there is no point in searching for the original books for these references. And when the team that I had worked for this, they have confirmed this, that they have not found those references which can now agree with the version of Christianity that's available now, that is well known now. And Jesus, Huzur saying the reason why I'm making this clarification is that we are emphasizing that this is Christian doctrine, and this is what they believe. You shouldn't think, nobody should think that this was the Old Testament's teaching or Jesus' teaching. No true prophet of Allah can give such a stupid idea that every man is born sinful. Jesus, in fact, he said that everyone shall carry the burden of their own sin, their own cross. They should bear their own cross. The same verse is similar to the verse in the Holy Quran when Allah says, "La tazir wazratun wizra ukhra," that no soul shall carry the burden of another soul. So Huzur saying, now let us return to this verse with which this thus started. This is verse 2 of Surah Nisa. The emphasis on Nafs Wahida. Why is this found here? Huzur is saying that let me return to this discussion, but before this, Huzur is saying that I shall now tell you what the commentators are saying and what thoughts they have on this issue. In any case, Huzur is saying that the original sin, that idea has been cast out by the Holy Quran and regards every person as being born on good nature. And the same was said by Jesus as well, that man is born on the nature of Allah. Huzur saying this is the subject. The Holy Quran says, "Kullu nafsin bima kasabat rahinatun." And there's another verse as well which is said
नफ्स
that
के बाद जो मैंने मजमून
who was saying that after this, the subject that I had selected to discuss with you, I shall now come to that. Who was saying that we've discussed khalq, haven't we? Now we should discuss the word zoj.
ज़ौज जानदारों में से
Zoj,
किसी जोड़े का फर्द नर
out
हो या
of the
मादा
living things,
ज़ौज कहलाएगा।
whether when something is male or female, would be called zoj. Samaniyata azwaj,
आठ ज़ौज यानी
eight
आठ फर्द नर व मादा
eight
मिलाकर
individuals,
चार जोड़े
including
हैं
which
जिनको उर्दू में हम जोड़े कहते हैं। इन चार में से
of
समानियत
which
अज़वाज
there
का
are
मतलब
male and
चार
female,
जोड़ों
so
से
it
आठ
means
अफराद।
4 pairs.
करीन साथी
Qareen
या
is
दोस्त को
refers
कहते हैं।
to companion or friend. فأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج كريم.
करीम
The Holy
कुरान करीम
Quran
में जो है
uses the
करीम
word Zawjin Kareem.
यहाँ भी इस
In this
लिहाज से
regard,
हर
it
जोड़े का फर्द सब इसमें शामिल हो जाएगा।
a person belonging to each uh, each pair will be referred to, or
जैसे कि फरमाया अन्नहु खलक़
anna,
ज़ौजैन
as it
अज़्ज़कर
says
व
in the
उन्सा।
Holy Quran that
ज़ौज से मुराद मर्द और
um,
औरत
sorry,
अलग अलग ज़ौज
so
और ज़ौजैन
Zawj
से मुराद
means
मर्द और औरत का जोड़ा।
male or female, and Zawjan means a pair of male and female. And
और
when we say
हम जो कहते हैं हर
everything
चीज़
was
को जोड़ा
made
जोड़ा पैदा किया वो खाली ज़ौज लफ्ज़ से नहीं
in
आता
pairs, it's not just
बल्कि
from the
ज़ौजैन
word
से ये
Zawj,
मज़मून
it's from the
निकलता है।
word Zawjan, where
जैसा कि
Allah says,
फरमाया
وَمِن
मिन
كُلِّ
कुल्लि
شَيْءٍ
शैइन खलक़ना
خَلَقْنَا
ज़ौजैन
زَوْجَيْنِ. We created
हमने हर
everything
चीज़ में से
in
जोड़े
pairs.
पैदा किए हैं। एक ही किस्म
So
के दो
the
अफराद
same kinds of
नर व
two
मादा हर चीज़ से पैदा किए हैं।
things, male and
ये जो
female,
आयत करीमा है ये
of everything.
सिर्फ
This is
ज़िंदगी
not
पर हावी
just
नहीं बल्कि मुर्दा चीज़ों पर भी
this doesn't just apply to
जितनी भी
living things, it applies
क्रिएशन
to
है
all kinds
उसमें
of
जोड़े
creation.
मिलते हैं।
Inanimate
यहाँ
objects
के
as
सब
well,
एटॉमिक
you find
पार्टिकल्स में भी जोड़े
pairs,
मिलते
even
हैं।
in the subatomic particles.
कोई चीज़ भी
There is
अल्फ जोड़े
nothing
के बगैर
and that
दरियाफ्त
has
नहीं
been
होती।
discovered which is without a
अल्लाह
pair. So
ताला
when
का ये
Allah says
फरमाना
this,
मिन
وَمِن كُلِّ
कुल्लि
شَيْءٍ
शैइन
خَلَقْنَا
खलक़ना
زَوْجَيْنِ,
ज़ौजैन
this is an incredible and
यही
it
सजावट
has
को
a
समेटे
this
हुए है।
incredible statement and it has very
फिर
deep
फरमाता
truths
है
contained
फीहा
within it.
मिन
And then
कुल्लि
Allah said,
फाकिहतिन
فِيهَا
ज़ौजान
مِن كُلِّ فَاكِهَةٍ زَوْجَانِ.
और उसमें
And in
हर किस्म
and
के फलों के
in there shall
जोड़े
be
होंगे।
pairs of
ये
all kinds
ज़ौजान
of
बने सिर्फ
fruits,
एक
so
किस्म
it
का फल
won't be
अकेला
a
नहीं
fruit
होगा
on its own, it will
उसके
be
मुकाबल का या
another
दूसरा दूसरा फल होगा
fruit
इसके अलावा मौजूद होगा।
apart from that which is similar in nature.
बहस काफ़ी
As we're saying that
काफ़ी हो
this
गई
is
मज़ीद
enough
ज़रूरत नहीं
discussion
है
on
ख्याल
this.
में
I think
हवाले तो कसरत
although
से
we
हैं।
have plenty of references, there's no need to go into any further detail. وَإِذَا
वैसे नफूस
النُّفُوسُ
ज़ुवजत
زُوِّجَتْ, when
जब नफूस ज़ुवजत
nufus shall
इकट्ठे
be
किए
brought
जाएंगे
together, we say
हम कहते
zuvijat,
हैं
and
ज़ुवजत इससे
it
मुराद ये
means
है
that
कि वो नफूस जो एक जिन्स से ताल्लुक़
those
रखते हैं
things which are which
वो
are
अपनी अपनी जिन्स में उनको इकट्ठा
which have
किया
to do
जाएगा।
with
यहाँ
their own
दो दो के
species,
माने
they will
नहीं है।
be combined together
ज़ुवजत
in their
मतलब है
species.
हम जिन्सों
So
के
it
साथ
means that
हम
the
जिन्स
similar
इकट्ठे किए
species shall
जाएंगे।
be combined with similar
और
species,
आजकल के
and
ज़माने के जो चिड़ियाघर हैं उनकी भी
the
थ्योरी भी इसी आयत
zoos
में
of
मौजूद है।
today, the prophecy of that is found in here as well.
कोई शेरों
And
का
some we
घर
have
है, कोई
lion houses
तोतों
and
का घर
parrot
है, कोई
houses and bird
चिड़ियों का घर है।
houses. In
चिड़ियाघर में हर सब किस्म के घर हैं
so a zoo
और एक
has
ही जिन्स
different
के
kinds of
मुख्तलिफ जानवर उनमें इकट्ठे नहीं
different
हैं।
kinds of such um, animals, and you find the animals of one particular species all combined
और
in
कुरान
there.
करीम
And
अखबार
apart
की
from the
किताब
Holy
में भी कुछ
Quran,
बड़ी
you will not find this
बातें
in
दिखाई
any
दी
other
गई हैं
book, that in the
कि आइंदा
future
ज़माने में
era
जानवरों
the
को उनकी
animals will
किस्मों
be
और उनकी
gathered together
जिन्सों के
according
मुताबिक
to
इकट्ठे
their
किया जाएगा।
types and their species, etc. وَزَوَّجْنَاهُمْ بِحُورٍ
वज़वजनाहुम बिहूरिन ईनिन
عِينٍ. We
हम
shall
उन्हें हूरे
give
ईन
them
बड़ी
a
बड़ी
hureen,
खूबसूरत
we shall give
आंखों
them
वाली
fair maidens who have beautiful eyes. Bihurin Inin, Huzur is saying that here the word Zoj means that they will also be similar in nature and in looks. So the pair is made out of the same species, just as this is included in the word in the word Zoj. So it can't be of different species. So Zurin in the Zoj and Zurin tells us that there are gives us two meanings. One is that Hur is not a female. In it applies to male and female. So to think that only men shall get hurs and women will be devoid, according to Surah An-Nisa, this should be explained with reference to this chapter. This is incorrect. That Imam Raghib writes, and we shall give them fair men who have large eyes and women who have large eyes. We should give them companionship. So for both they shall be hurs. It won't be just for one. And in fact Zawajna tells us that they will be similar. So the research that should be done, the creation will not be some new creation, and in fact there won't be any difference in the sex as well. So there will not be two separate sexes. So the references that are usually found in are to do with men, but the word hur clarifies it and says that it's not doesn't just refer to men, it refers to both. So it's saying, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I have studied this, there will be no difference of sexes in heaven, and this is only confined to this world, such differences. But whatever differences there are, there will be some differences which will make people enjoy their being friends with them. But the relationship between a husband and a wife will not be a sexual one. There will be a relationship between men and women, but their new form will be such that they will look like different things, different individuals of the same species, but there won't be any difference between them as a male and female, and they will be made pairs according to how they desire. This is a very deep subject and it's very important, but right now this is not the right time. But in the future, inshallah, sometime I shall explain this, that what we call enjoyment in this world, what's the philosophy of that, why are we given pleasure, and after death, if despite these things not being repeated, how can we attain pleasure? This, with reference to the Holy Quran and with reference to human nature, is a vast subject which needs to be explained, but right now Huzur is saying that I just indicate towards it and I will not go into the details. Zoj and Jins, and after this Huzur is saying there is the word Arham, Ar-Rahmu, Rahimul Marate, Wamratun, Ruhun, Tashtaki Rahimaha, Waminhu, Minhu Twair Rahimu, Lil sorry, Huzur was reading some more Arabic, with the rest of which I missed. Arham refers to a womb. Someone who has a problem with the womb is called Rahum, and because people who were born of the same out of the same womb, there a particular word used for them. Huzur is saying in this discussion of the womb, there's a lot of discussion in the lexicon,
हमारे नुक्ते
and from
नज़र
our point of view, Huzur is saying this is pointless because Rahum
बीमार रहम
is
वाली
refers to a woman whose womb is not not
ऊँटनियों का भी
good,
जिक्र है वो भी अगर रहम की
and
तकलीफ में मुब्तला हो जाए
camels are also mentioned that if they are
रहूम
they
कहलाएंगे
have problems with their uterus, then
इसी
they'll
तरह
also be
खाइयों
called
की
Rahum.
बात
Huzur is saying that the lexicon has taken up
की तफसील से
discussions which do not really have any deep relationship with the meaning of this verse, which needs to be explained more clearly.
रक़ब
The word Raqab,
आखिरी
which is the last word that is used here in the Laha Kana Alaikum Raqiba. So the
रकीब की
in
बहस में
discussion of
आता है
this word
रक़बा का
Raqib,
मतलब
it
है
means
पाबंदी
somebody
करना
who to restrict
जैसे
someone,
कि
or
फरमाया
to,
ला यरकुबु फीकुम इल्लम
like
वला
Allah
ज़िम्मा
says, La yarkhubu fiha illam
वो
wala
तुम्हारे
zimma,
अंदर
let them
किसी
not see
किसी अहद
any,
जिम्मेदारी वगैरह का
sorry,
कोई
they
लिहाज
don't
नहीं
take care of any promises, etc. made with you.
रकीब
Raqib
देखने वाले को
is
ख्याल रखने
someone
वाले को
who
कहते
takes
हैं
care.
रक़बा
Raqaba
गर्दन को
refers
कहते हैं
to the neck. For Zarbar
ज़रबर
Riqab,
रिक़ाब
just as it
जैसा कि
says that
फरमाया
they
उनकी गर्दन को मारो
hit their necks.
गर्दन का मजाजन इंसान
Um, Fakku Raqaba,
रक़बा गर्दनों को
the
आज़ाद करना
freedom of
इंसानों और
the
गुलामों को
necks
आज़ाद करना
means to free slaves. Irtaqaba
इर्तक़बा कहते हैं
is
गौर से
to
किसी
look
चीज़ को देखने
carefully at
को
something.
इस आयत करीमा की
The
शान नुज़ूल
reason for revelation of this blessed verse. Now we discuss this.
एक शान
One,
नुज़ूल ये बयान की
one,
गई है ये
one of those is that
हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
the
वसल्लम
one
जो
reason for revelation is described is
हम
that
बैठे
we
हुए
were
थे
sitting before the Holy Prophet
लेकिन कुछ
ﷺ,
लोग आए
and
नंगे
some
बदन
people came
नंगे पाँव तलवारें लटकाए हुए
who were not
असल
wearing
में
any
मज़र
clothing,
कबीले से
and
थे मुज़र है
they had
या मज़र है
they didn't have any covering on their heads either,
मुज़र कबीले
and
से थे
they had
रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु
swords.
अलैहि वसल्लम का चेहरा
They
बदल
came
गया
to the
तो
Mazar
उनकी
tribe,
मुताबिक
they came to the Holy Prophet
जब वो अंदर
ﷺ, and the Holy
गए
Prophet
खिदमत के
ﷺ's
बिलाल को
face,
हुक्म दिया
countenance
अज़ान
changed
देने का
when he
उन्होंने
saw
अज़ान
them
दी
because of their
नमाज
terrible
तैयार हुई
state. And then
फिर
the
आपने नमाज
azan was
पढ़ी फिर
done,
खुतबा
and
पढ़ा
then the
तो
Holy Prophet
फरमाया या
ﷺ
अय्युहन्नास
gave
इत्तक़ू रब्बकुम लज़ी खलक़कुम
a sermon in which he said these
वो
verses.
समझते हैं
The commentators think that
कि इस हदीस से
this
लगता है कि आयत उसी वक्त नाज़िल हुई
um,
और इस वजह से नाज़िल हुई
this tradition proves
लेकिन
that this
ये
is
आयत
why
बहुत ही वसी मानी तो
this verse was revealed.
और जैसा कि
Huzur
मैं
is
पहले बयान
saying
कर चुका हूँ
this
पहली सूरत से
this is wrong. This
पहली
verse has
सूरतों
very
से
deep meanings, and it
तदरीजी
has
ताल्लुक
an
रखता है
evolutionary
और इंसान की
relationship
गहरी
with
तारीफ को शराइत की तारीफ
the
से कर देता
previous chapter.
है इसलिए ये कहना कि सिर्फ चंद गरीबों
So to
को
think that just by looking at some poor people,
मौका पैदा हुआ और ये आयत नाज़िल हुई
the reason that became a reason for the revelation of this verse, this is
ऐसी
wrong.
अहादीस का सिर्फ इतना मतलब समझना चाहिए
Such traditions should only be
आयात
thought
जो
of
मुख्तलिफ वक्तों में नाजिल हुई
in such a way that, in this way, that
फसाहत और
the
बलागत का
the
एक
verses that were
कमाल है
revealed at
कुरान
certain
करीम का
occasions, this is
कि ऐन उस
an
वक्त
incredible
गुफ्तगू की बात ऐसी वजूद में आती थी
brilliance of the Holy
जो
Quran,
आयत
that
के मजमून से ताल्लुक़
some
रखने वाली है
incident used to occur at that time which
यहाँ
had
तक दुरुस्त
a slight
इससे आगे
relationship
बिल्कुल
with
गलत
that
है
verse. This much
किसी
is
वाक़या
fine.
से उसका
Otherwise,
ताल्लुक़ है
to say this is
जो
fine, but
वाक़या
if
ना
you
होता
say
तो ये
that
आयत नाज़िल ना
if
होती
this has
तो
to
उस
do with
वाक़या
that
में
particular
जितनी
incident,
बातें
and if that
मौजूद हैं
incident hadn't occurred, then this
उन्हीं
verse
पर
would not have been revealed,
आयत का
and
इतलाक़ होता है उससे
this
आगे नहीं
verse only
आयात
applies to a
कुरानी का
particular
आपस में एक ताल्लुक़ है
verse,
जो
sorry, a particular
आज़ाद
incident,
ताल्लुक़ है और दायमी
and
ताल्लुक़ है
doesn't extend
इससे
any
किसी
further
वाक़या
than
के
that. So
होने या
Huzur is
ना
saying
होने
that
से
these
हरगिज़ कोई उसका मानना
verses are
ज़रूरी
of an
नहीं
eternal nature, and their
इत्तिफ़ाक़न
relationship
कोई
with each
वाक़या
other are of
सामने
an
आ जाए
eternal nature.
और इस पर इतलाक़ हो जाए
But
तो ये दुरुस्त है
it is correct
लेकिन
if there is an incident
वजह नहीं बन
and
सकता
which applies to it, then
तो
that's
शान
okay.
नुज़ूल
But
कहना
it doesn't mean that that is the only sole
सिवाय
reason for
चंद
its
इस्तिस्नाई बातों के वो अलग है
revelation, except for
जो दुरुस्त
for a few exceptions, but most commentators have, with reference to some traditions, they have tried to join each verse with the reason for its revelation. Hazrat Imam Razi says about the beginning of this, Ya ayyuhan nasu taqu rabbakum. This beginning, they say that this is found in Surah Hajj after Surah Nisa, and between both of them it appears that there is a relationship because both have started with the same style. Surah Nisa is, in Surah Nisa Allah has given the reason for adopting righteousness, and that the beginning of creation, that this is the reason for righteousness, adopting righteousness. In Surah Hajj, combining it with righteousness, it says, إن نزلت الساعة لشيء عظيم, and it refers to the end. Huzur is saying that this is difficult to understand, but I'll explain the gist of this. According to Imam Razi, in these two chapters, the relationship between these is the first section of this verse, in which people are addressed as Ya ayyuhan nas, and they have been taught righteousness. In Surah Nisa, which is before this, righteousness is been tied to a beginning, and in Surah Hajj it has been tied to the conclusion. So that is that one is your beginning, which is that you should adopt righteousness, and then your end will be that you'll return to God. Therefore, you should adopt righteousness. So this is what he has ascertained from this. Now, they're saying let's turn to the angle of Adam. So they're saying that I have expressed my thoughts on this in this regard yesterday, according to science and the Quran. They're saying that the commentators have found the most difficulty due to the statement of the Bible, and they think that in any case Adam was first and Eve was second, and because of this they have confronted many problems, and they have tried to ascertain Adam's age, and they think that the first Adam was actually made out of clay, molded out of clay, literally, just as people make idols made out of clay. So they think that this man was molded out of clay, and then Allah breathed onto it. And this idea of creation has got nothing to do with Allah's works, which we see, and those works I explained to you yesterday, that the beginning was made out of dust and clay, but there have been many stages in between, and this, if we go into the details of this subject, then it will take several hours. But my book that is about to be published, in this there is a chapter, and it's quite a big large chapter, which speaks of the beginning of life and the evolution that occurred in the light of the Holy Quran and science. When that book is published, then you will understand these subjects better. But remember this well, that the Holy Quran has never presented that idea which some biblical people who believe in the Bible ascertain from the Bible, that Allah made Adam out of clay and then breathed into him and then took off one of its ribs and made Eve out of it. Huzur is saying that the commentators have gives one tradition which is actually going against their conclusion, which is that Allah says that in which the Holy Prophet said that don't try to straighten a woman because she is made out of a rib, and because if you do then it will break. This only has to, it refers to the woman's gentleness and delicacy, and this is something that the writers of the Bible never thought of, and the Holy Prophet said this despite the fact that the word rib is not mentioned in the Holy Quran. So it obviously means that the Holy Prophet was actually commenting on the Bible, and he said that as far as the woman's delicacy is concerned, there is like a rib, and those there are some curves in it which are essential for your life, because if there weren't any curves in the rib, it would not be able to protect your body. So it doesn't mean that she was actually carved out of a rib. It can't be right anyway, because if a woman has been made from one rib, then Adam was also made out of ribs. Then Adam is not at all ever going to be straightened. If a woman who has one rib is crooked, Huzur is saying that tell me how many ribs do we have? Dr. Saab is asking, Dr. Saab, there are 12 pairs, so there's 24. Huzur is saying that first of all, there is no lack of any ribs in the men's ribs are not any less, and but if men are made out of 24 ribs, then imagine how crooked he must be. But women are also made out of the same number of ribs. So we're saying these are just the people's additions, etc., and they're not what the Quran what Allah means in his books. So we're saying that then we now return to the ages. Some people think that the life of the world is only 7,000 years old, and from the time of Adam to the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, according to one tradition, there is a distance as if the time of Asr has begun. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ arrived at the time of Asr, so before that much time had passed. So now we're saying if you distribute this, then you see the relationship between 5,000 and 7,000 years. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that means, was born in the 5,000th year, and the last two that are the last two ages that are left are of the latter days. But these traditions does not have to do with the apparent, which the ulama think. The Holy Prophet ﷺ did not think this at all, that the first Adam was born 5,000 years previously, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ, at his time, the Asr time came, as if that is the end time. So this actually refers to the evolution of religion, and it's to do with that which was born at the time of Adam, and he was regarded as the Khalifatullah. So after the Khalifatullah, the time of Asr came, and then the Holy Prophet ﷺ arrived, and then after Asr, the time of Asr, then the sun sets, and then new things are not born in it. So, and from Asr to the setting of the sun, that will be the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's era. And because ulama, this is all it means, and if ulama go into the literal translation and they think that the first man was Adam, Huzur said that now I shall present to you certain quotations of the Prophet ﷺ in this regard. He was also asked the question that the Bible says that Adam, or the first man, was born in Jehun, and that was his country. Then these people who live in different countries, America, Australia, etc., are they children of the same Adam? The Prophet ﷺ replied that we don't believe in this, and we do not agree with the Torah in this regard, that the life should have begun as 7,000 years ago when Adam was made. The Prophet ﷺ was born 6,000 years after Adam, and before this and the Prophet ﷺ said that we do not believe that Allah was not doing anything before that, and all of the people that exist across the world, they're all children of the same Adam. We believe that there were other human beings before Adam, just as it says in the Holy Quran that inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. The Prophet ﷺ has ascertained this from these words of the Holy Quran, that inni ja'ilun fil ardi adama. It doesn't say this, it says inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. Khalifa is a representative, so it means that there were other people present before Adam, and of them there had to be a representative. So the idea was not to make just the first Adam. It means that the first Adam, the Adams that were present, of them an Adam was to be chosen. So about the people of America and Australia, we cannot say whether they were the children of that final Adam, or were they the children of some other Adam. And there is some words of Ibn Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi. He said that once he went to do Hajj and he found a man about whom he thought that he was Adam, and he said to him, "Are you Adam?" And at this he responded that, "Which Adam are you asking me about? There were thousands of Adams." So the Prophet ﷺ has the same point of view which I yesterday explained from the reference to science, that Adam's beginning had occurred much before. That is the creation out of clay. That is a billion years ago probably. But when Adam was also made, it was also when the actual the Homo sapien, etc., was made, was about 100,000 years ago. So to limit this idea, which is not mentioned in the Holy Quran, but to ascertain it from the Bible and then allege it towards the Holy Quran, this is wrong. But this happens sometimes when people don't have knowledge, and it's not necessarily a sin. In the other reference, the tradition of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is mentioned. Just as in the beginning there was Adam, at the end there will be an Adam as well. From the traditions it is proven that the Holy Prophet ﷺ's era was the time of Asr in the age of the world. Huzur is saying if it was Asr time, then you can imagine how much time is left now. Then he says that Arya asked a question that the world began with Adam, Hazrat said this is wrong. Islam and Quran does not say this. That it is 6,000. The world is 6,000 years old. This is the biblical story in the Holy Quran. Allah says that he was a Khalifa. So a Khalifa is someone who comes afterwards. So therefore, it means that there were some other people around at the time of Adam. Huzur is saying that another very fine, exquisite meaning has been derived from this verse by the Holy Prophet, by Prophet Islam. He says here, Khalifa is the Khalifa of the previous people as well, and Allah didn't just make His own representative. This one can discern from this verse that Khalifa. That Adam is called a Khalifa, and a Khalifa is someone who comes after other people, and this is proven from other verses of the Holy Quran that Khalifa is. The Holy Quran, for example, says that I made you Khalifa in the earth, and these are a Khalifa of the previous people. So before that, that means that there were people around. So before Adam, there were people. There was creation, and Adam became a representative for them. Huzur is saying that this has made it clearer. He didn't say that before Adam there were human beings. The Prophet said this proves that before that they were creatures. And other verses of the Holy Quran, which Huzur is saying that there's no time to now present them. But from those verses, this is further proven, further clarified that before human beings, human beings was made came after other creatures, and they evolved until the world was made evolved into human beings. So whatever is the last of a particular era becomes the heir of that system, and this is how the final heir of this system is man, and this is one of the meanings of being an heir. And Khalifatullah also the Holy Quran gives, but that is from a religious point of view and not from a physical point of view. The words khalaqa minha zawjaha, ha refers is a feminine gender, and from this has been ignored by all the commentators and turned this, and ha regarded that ha means Adam. Huzur is saying that because of the biblical influence, but if the Holy Quran was wanted to mention Adam, then Allah could have referred to it as nafs, because nafs can represent male or female, and if nafs was being referred to, then the minho would have been used, but minha has been used, so nafs wahidatin has been used rather than wahida. If Adam was to be indicated, then nafs wahid should have been written in the Holy Quran. So it's clear that it's referring to a female rather than a male, being the first life form. We were saying that all the commentators say that the same thing has been repeated again here. Everywhere they make the mistake. They say that minha means to have created Eve, whereas minha, if it refers to a woman, then it would mean that from a woman was born. So, which is wrong. So here what is said is that from that single being which was as a female,
उससे उसका
and
जो
from her
मर्द
her male was created, and other meanings are not possible from this. Huzur is saying that all of the biblical, because of the biblical influence, all of them have lost their way and they have gone towards the wrong meaning. All the translations here, sorry, all the commentaries that I have here, the same meaning is being repeated in them. Hazrat Imam Baqir has rejected this, that Adam Eve was born out of Adam's ribs. Huzur is saying that the idea that he has presented is worrying in itself because he doesn't have any proof. But at least he has the intelligence to note that Eve was made out of, I think he said that this gentleman had said that Adam was made out of Eve's rib. So at least he has noticed that it was the female that's mentioned here. In the next reference, there's a question put, that there's a question which is answered, that Eve was born out of Adam's rib, and it was denied and said that no, this is not the case. And there's another tradition of the Holy Prophet ﷺ which they presented, perhaps that in order to remove the effect of the rib tradition. Huzur is saying that reference isn't here, otherwise it would have been good if we had studied that. It said that Allah took a fistful of clay and then Allah molded it with his right hand. So it doesn't mean that Allah has a left hand and the right hand. It means that all of Allah's powers are called Yameen, that is the right-handed. Unless then from that Allah made Adam, and the dust that was left behind, Allah made Eve out of it. Huzur is saying that this bit, whatever was left, she molded Eve out of that. We have to study the actual words of the traditions. But one thing is for certain, that out of the old ulama, Imam Baqir, people like Imam Baqir are rejecting the idea that Eve was made out of the rib of Adam. The Mishtri's commentary, let us see what he says. He was saying usually Kashaf is is a book which is more logical compared to others. He said that if you think that the way it is written after explaining the righteousness, if it regards righteousness as essential and calls towards it and inclines towards it, and the creation of everything from one being, how does that make righteousness compulsory? Huzur is saying that he has raised this question, but he has not mentioned the creation of man and women, but he has said that creation from nafs wahida, that is single being. Where the word is wattaqu is mentioned from Allah. The beginning of the verse, Ya ayyuhan nasu ttaqu rabbakum. Now the word arhamakum, why is there a nasab on there? Tasa'aluna bihi, but you give references of Allah's name, and if this was meant that wal arham, and if you refer to the sorry, if you give references of arham, then the commentators think that it means it is mansub, which means that another verb has acted on it and is made into maf'ul. Huzur is saying, for example, if I say that I have picked up these pages, then I am the doer, and this is the pages are what the action has happened on. So arham has to do with something that has occurred previously. So he says where it says wattaqu ya ayyuhan nasu taqu rabbakum, there the wal arham doesn't has to do with that. You should be afraid of Allah and also be afraid of arham, and or be righteous. Imam Razi has taken up this subject and said that according to good commentators, what this subject becomes wattaqul arhama, and taqta'uha, that it means that don't cut or be afraid of cutting relations of the womb. They're saying that this means that don't let this catch you, that don't let Allah be upset with you because of this that you cut the relationship with your through your womb. You're saying that what is this? Is it Suddi here? Suddi, Duha, Ibn Zayd, Fura, Lujaj, and these are their opinions, and in that regard, arham is that be careful and be fearful of cutting the relationships of the womb. Muhyiddin Arabi says that righteousness is of 4 types. Apart from Allah, to keep away from sin is taqwa, is righteousness, and then there is the righteousness of prophets is God in the beginning and in the end. Huzur say this discussion doesn't have anything to do with this particular discussion that we are dealing with at the moment. Kashaf says that when the word tasa'aluna bihi wal arham, it means that he thinks that you should give reference of people related to you through your womb in order to ask for Allah's so in order to pray to Allah, you should use them as a reference. Here the question rises as to why he has regarded arham, why has he said tasa'aluna bihi wal arham, tasa'aluna billahi wa bil arham. How has he taken this meaning from it? If arham is meant, then this you cannot have this meaning from it. He was asking Imam Sahib that he said that you should look at this arham as Imam Razi says that tasa'aluna bil arham. How is it okay to translate it in this way? If it's about Allah, Ibn Abbas says that Rahim is hanging on the throne, and when someone goes to it and asks it a question, then it gets pleased, and anyone who cuts relationship with the womb when it comes to it, then it hides itself. In Tafsir Bahr Mu'id, this translation has been made tasa'aluna bihi wal arham, that you ask with Allah's he said that he says that Arabs say that I ask you, beseech you in the name of Allah to do this, and also from your rahim as well. That is your I call you in the name of your relationships, your relations with the womb. Imam Razi says that this verse speaks of, he says it doesn't refer to the womb, and he says that it is to do with the fear of Allah. He said that this is the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that the one who asks, if someone asks you for the sake of Allah, then you should answer them. He doesn't say that if someone asks you in the name of your people raised to you through your womb, you should respond to them. There are many other traditions which Huzur is saying that the discussions, the dictionary discussions that we have made, and these other discussions have taken a long time. If we just stay here like this, then in this Ramzan we will only be able to cover a few verses, so therefore it's better to go further, to go forward. Ya ayyuhan nas ittaqu rabbakum, O ye people, adopt righteousness. Huzur is saying that here Ya ayyuhan nas refers to ordinary people, and when very etc. are trying to say that it's because in the Meccan era it was referring to ordinary people, therefore there was Annas, and in the Medinite era the Jews were mentioned, were addressed, so the people of the book were the addressed. This is wrong. Huzur is saying that the Ya ayyuhan nas, the whole of the Holy Quran is presented with reference to the Holy Prophet ﷺ being an international prophet, and in this verse as well, which was revealed in Medina, these words Ya ayyuhan nas means that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was a prophet to all mankind, and he is reminding them all of taqwa, of righteousness. Another question is that what does this have to do with righteousness? This is what the commentators are asking, and he says that afterwards the reason is being given that adopt righteousness. Why should you adopt righteousness? Because he has created you from one being, and he's also mentioned arham. This confusion, Huzur is saying that I don't think there's any confusion here at all. There is one thing which should be mentioned, that justice is the teaching here, the message here, that everyone should be treated equally, and where as far as creation is concerned, the Adam is one. And so this is the subject that's being mentioned here, that because Adam is the same, so all different differentiations due to color and caste and creed, etc., should be removed. And if you look at your differences, and because of them, based on them, you exceeded against, committed excesses against someone based on their color or caste, etc., then you should be afraid of Allah, because Allah has not granted anyone any ascendancy due to the way that they are, the way where they are born, etc., or how they look. So Allah, because as far as Allah is concerned, He only looks at righteousness, and so you shouldn't distinguish between each other in terms of rights. Otherwise, you will fall from righteousness, and especially when it comes to the womb, relationship with the womb, you should have fear of Allah, and you should remember the rights, because you are equal when it comes to the womb. So it means that there are two forms two bases for equality of everyone. That first is that all of you were created from the same Adam, and all the different faces, etc., that everybody has been given. They are just to distinguish there, and you are all eventually you are all made from the same Adam, and the same subject is in the womb, the relationship with the womb. The reason why you should take care of them is because the mother is the same, and if you transgress in this regard, then Allah doesn't like this either. And the other is that because Rahman has to do with the creation, so through Nafs Wahida, that is a singular being, the relationship with Allah has been made, and Allah is the one who created you from one being. And from this subject, what you should keep in mind is that if you take care of the relationships due to your mother, and you take care of your mother, and the mother's love is that which is then distributed among other relationships, then you will have the most relationship of love with Allah, because Allah is the one who created you, and He created you from one being. So the first creator, which Allah, should be the most beloved. And if sisters and brothers take care of each other because of the mother, being of the same mother, then why should people not care about other human beings, because they are all from the same God? So this is the relationship of righteousness, which ties this the message of this verse with righteousness. And in Allah kana alaykum raqiba means that Allah has not forgotten you after He has created you. He is constantly taking care of you, looking after you. Your actions are being looked at, and there is the result of that is going to be proven, is going to be shown to you if you are not afraid of Allah. And here the word taqwa refers to a fear of Allah. One kind of taqwa refers to being to think of Allah and to act well, and the other taqwa, righteousness, is to be afraid of punishment. And raqiba points towards this other kind of righteousness. Allah is giving you the teaching that you should perform good deeds with the fear of Allah or because of Allah. But if you do not do so, then remember, in Allah kana alaykum raqiba, Allah is looking at you, is constantly you are constantly under Allah's attention, and if you don't do that, then you will be punished. And the next verse after this, Huzur is saying is وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب ولا تأكلوا أموالهم. Sorry, Huzur is saying that the words are آتوا اليتامى أموالهم ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم إنه كان حوبا كبيرا. And give to the orphans their property and exchange not the bad for the good, and devour not their property with your own. Surely it is a great sin. This is verse 3 of chapter 4. So he's saying that don't let go of the pure and clean and change it for something which is filthy, accept something which is filthy. This is not correct. Don't do this. And there and don't and devour not their property with your own. Surely it is a great sin. The question is, what does the first verse have to do with this verse? Why has the subject suddenly changed? It should be remembered that just as Huzur Singh I have explained previously, this verse refers to the possibilities that occur after a war. Lots of connections are lost, and animosities are born, and different types of fears are born for the believers, and it's important for them to be tied with each other. And the other subjects which are mentioned, they are side issues, but this is the relationship of them with each other, and despite they are side issues, and yet they have very strong relationships with this subject as well. So Huzur is saying that the verses of the Holy Quran are chained in different subjects. So sometimes it is not possible for it's difficult for us to keep view those chains. So Huzur is saying the first relationship I have explained to you, and then with reference to Rabitu I have explained to you that the Holy Quran is warning you that as a result of jihad for the sake of Allah, the harm that you have faced, you are being warned by about these people. You should be afraid. You should be afraid of the warnings. Of the problems that you will face from the outsiders, and also the trials that you might face from within. And so Allah is teaching us how to go through these trials successfully. Huzur is saying the word Rabitu here will apply to the people who are related to you through your womb, that you should take care of this, and when you are in your relationships with each other, you have to do ribat against sin, that is guard this, and you should also take care of families that are broken apart, because this is what happens after a war. So Huzur is saying, after mentioning the womb, then the orphans are mentioned, that the orphans are born out of such wars, and they apparently don't have any guardians, and we tell you that they have a guardian. One of their guardians is God, and who has made you, created you in the same way as He has created the orphans. And the other thing is that if the parents of the father of a child is dead, then they are called orphans. So you do have they are related to you through your womb, so you must take care of them. If they don't have a father, then they have a God and the mothers, and because of them there are some rights that you have to fulfill. So this is by not understanding this, it appears that the first verse is completely separate from this one. Now we shall enter into this verse, Atul Yatama Amwalahum, that you must give the orphans their wealth, and because remember that although they don't have a father, but Allah is their protector, and you must fulfill their rights. And if you think that no one is watching, and you mix them up into your wealth, and you use it up, then it will be as if you are making your wealth spoiled, because you have gained your wealth through honest means. So if you mix it up with the orphans' wealth, then all of your wealth will become spoiled. It doesn't mean that a part of your wealth, when you gave it, you bought something that was something which was spoiled. This obviously doesn't happen. But if dishonestly some filthy wealth gets entered into your pure wealth, then your pure wealth will also becomes filthy. So all of the wealth becomes filthy. This is a warning that has been given here. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ إِلَىٰ أَمْوَالِكُمْ, and don't eat it combined with your so you're saying amwalahum is first, wala taakulu amwalahum ila amwalikum, that their wealth, don't combine it to your wealth and devour it, despite the fact that it's called the orphans' wealth. The verses that are mentioned afterwards, they also regard the wealth which is belongs to the orphans to belong to the whole nation. So what is this? Why is there this difference? The Holy Quran removes the veils from these issues. Here, the only thing is that when we say that don't take filthy wealth in exchange for good wealth. So whenever you take the poor orphans' wealth, then this is what you are doing in a sense. Innahu kana huban kabura, and this is a great sin in the eyes of Allah. The discussion is of yatiman. Huzur is saying that those that we regard as yatim, that state is called yutam. Yes, but if the animals are taken away from their parents, then the word yutam is used for them as well in Arabic. A separate house which is cut is also called Batul Yatim, which is cut off from others. Batul Yatimun, that house which has the relationship with which has been cut off. So in this regard, the rights of an orphan would include that don't leave orphans on their own. So if a house with which no one has a relationship with, then those people who are responsible for them, this means that those who do not have anyone to look after them, we should be afraid of Allah, because Allah is looking after them. In the society, that's other society that is present, they should not leave the orphans separately. That means that you shouldn't have a difference with your relationship with them shouldn't become different because they don't have a father. This is why Allah called anything that is separate a yatim. Duratun yatimatun. Durayatim means a very precious pearl which doesn't have when there's with the like of which there isn't found. So when the Holy Prophet ﷺ is called Durayatim, it doesn't mean that people left him. It means that there is no other pearl like it. So it's alone in the sense that there is none like it. Lisan al-Arab says that yutam is, the word yutam means laziness, and this is what the word yatim comes from, which means that with people are lazy when they deal with the orphans, and they are cold towards them. And al-hub, which we translated as meaning sin. He says that actually it has the meaning of wahshat. Ismuhu and wahshat, both meanings are in it. Wahshat means to be afraid, extremely afraid of someone. Al-nakra'u wal-hubu al-wahshatu. And from this regard, in this verse gives birth to another meaning as well. Guna or sin is an ordinary use of this word. That's not meant here. Hub is mentioned. Huban kabira means that a very big, a very horrible thing that should cause great anxiety, and it's a horrific method. It's a horrific way if you do not take care of
या सोसाइटी
the society or your people who are
खुदा के नजदीक एक बहुत बड़ा गुनाह तुम्हारा
related to you through your womb, then this is a great sin in the eyes of Allah. Innahu kana huban kabira.
कबीरा
Here,
यतीमों के माल के हवाले से
the word hub is used in reference to the
सोसाइटी का मैंने जो
wealth of the orphans.
मुराद यही है कि
It
सोसाइटी
means that if in the society
दिया जाए
the
वाहियाना हरकत है इंसानी तकाज़ों से गिरी हुई
if you leave them, abandon them, then this is beneath man,
गैर
and
इंसानी
it's extremely, it's like being acting like a savage animal, an uncivilized way of doing things. It says al-hu al-hudnu wakil al-wahshatu, means that it also refers to as refers to huzn,
और
and
वाशिद भी
it's
कहा जाता है
also washat is also used. So hu and kabira in the meanings of hub
ये बात
is that this is something which very worrying, that you should do something like that. You should act in that way. We were saying these are all discussions of
लंबी चला दी
the dictionary, which they have extended to too far.
माशाल्लाह
We were saying that they have worked very hard
कुरान करीम के अंदाज़े पर
in order to study the meanings of the Holy Quran. A discussion which is very important to present here is the word yatim.
मुद्दत तक
To what point does this apply, being an orphan? Hazrat Imam Razi
राजी ने
has taken up this subject. Hazrat Ibn Abbas was asked by a letter that when does the orphanness finish? He said that when the adulthood occurs, then them being an orphan ends, the state of being an orphan ends. Some people say that when somebody's beard grows, then he stops being an orphan. But Ibn Abbas says that this would last until they become strong and mature. And the reason for this word is from the word mature is because Allah has said that in the Holy Quran that when you should return their wealth to them, when the orphans are adults and they are mature, so they are able to decide to use their wealth and protect it. So the definition of orphan is doesn't just mean when a girl matures, etc. It also refers to their mental aptitude and mental becoming responsible, etc. Some commentators, as far as the Shan-e-Nuzul is concerned, they also say that this verse is actually about a person of Ghatfan, because they want to look for the reason for revelation. Huzur is saying that look at this, is such an incredible subject, but because these people are trying to show that every verse has a reason, so they say that it's to do with the man of Ghatfan. Ghatfan was a tribe. Huzur is saying that the same subjects are being mentioned, the same things are being repeated by each commentator, and this is not we should study this beforehand, and so that we only mention those things which are being which are unique, because Huzur is saying that I see the same matters being repeated in every commentary that I have already explained. So they should be. I should only have. Huzur meant that only those notes should be in front of him which are unique and different, so he doesn't have to repeat what he's already said. In the commentary, Huzur is saying that I don't see any other discussion except for the one what I've already presented before you. Tomorrow, Huzur is saying in tomorrow's verses, I'll try that those extra verses which are repetitions, they should be taken out so that your time isn't wasted during the dars. The Prophet Islam has taken another point out of the discussion in this verse. He says, وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَلَا تَتَبَدَّلُوا الْخَبِيثَ بِالطَّيِّبِ. Here he says that it means that you should in exchange for good things you should the subject here is that you the Prophet says that this should be more. This is the reason why it's been mentioned in this way, so that it becomes more of general application. So just as taking others' wealth is wrong, therefore in the same way to buy something rubbish for something good is also wrong. So this has made it into a general subject. And just as it is a guna or is a sin to take somebody's to usurp somebody's things, it's also wrong to give something good and get something bad in exchange. You're saying that the wealth that you are taking, its price is to do with the wealth that is being given. If that wealth is spoiled, then you can't say that I have taken good wealth. It means that you have taken harmful wealth, and your deal is harmful for you. Khamis Awal who says that wealth is theirs and it's for you, it's haram. So when you take some piece of wealth without your due right, then this makes it khabis or makes it filthy. So it wasn't was spoiled for the sake of for the orphans, but it was wrong because of your usurping it. We were saying that then other verses begin after this. So we're saying that I think this is enough about this verse. And now Huzur is saying that we should now go to the next verse. Huzur is saying that this verse, وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَلَا تَتَبَدَّلُوا الْخَبِيثَ بِالطَّيِّبِ وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَهُمْ إِلَىٰ أَمْوَالِكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ حُبًّا كَبِيرًا. After this, Huzur is saying that now we shall come to the next verse. Huzur is being told that the time is finished. Huzur is saying the rest we shall do tomorrow, inshallah. For today, Huzur is saying that on one sense I apologize that the references that I have in my hand here I had my instruction is that every commentator's commentaries should be presented separately, and the reason for this was so that I can see them and I can take out the repetition and the new things mentioned in each. I should present them to you with reference to those commentators, but because a lot of time has been spent in other things, other matters, so I couldn't have the time to study this beforehand and separate them. Tomorrow we shall not spend time on such repetitions. I'll try to cover more verses in less time, inshallah ta'ala. Huzur saying this is now your responsibility. To Muni Javed Sahab. Huzur was asking if there's anything else that needs to be said that Huzur promised. Huzur saying there was one other thing which I mentioned, but this is not the occasion for that, and I shall discuss it later. Just I said to you that just as a woman is mentioned, and there is an evolutionary system that is being mentioned, there is also the subject of instructions and the evolution of those, where the instructions began, religious instructions began with which people, etc. But this cannot happen with one in the reference to one verse. So those things I have got that ready, and I shall present it to you some other time, inshallah. They're saying that today you have to take time from me and you come and meet me, because if I sit alone, it is going to take too long. You can help me do it faster. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Huzur saying that get ready for salat. You should do. Huzur saying that I'll do my sunnah and I'll come down. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.